Marcus, for a long time, we actually saw cybersecurity sometimes as a cost to the business, as something that we need to do rather than something that's really critical to the way that we operate, and also potentially strategic enabler to the businesses that we're trying to run. Have you seen a shift in the conversations you've had just around that move from cost to something that's not only critical to the business, can actually help the businesses moving forward?
Yeah, it's variable, isn't it? I mean, so there's different degrees of maturity here, right across the economy. I mean, I see businesses that have fully embraced it, integrated cyber into just their broader view of risk, and rather than treating it as a niche. But I to be fair, I still see plenty of organisations, commercial and otherwise, that treat cybersecurity as a niche area, and maybe even worse, outsource all of that to a CIO or a head of IT or a CISO, rather than having those C-suite boards being accountable and holding that risk themselves, which of course is where it should be.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. And if we look over the last 3 years and just the impact the pandemic has had, on all of us here in Australia, our communities, our families, but where we work as well, and then globally, it has meant for a lot of us that we've had to think about how do we transform our businesses. A lot of companies are doing digital transformations, and they're looking at their supply chains, which have had to move to a more sort of digital environment. The impact of that around cybersecurity is immense, and it'd be great to get your feedback around, what are some of the opportunities but also challenges that people should really be thinking about when we think around, the impact that it's had and where do we need to go moving forward.
Well, there's a bit to that. Of course, with all those people working from home, that has, and then dialing in to their offices rather than physically going into their offices, that just increases the threat surface or the attack surface for threat actors, and the threats we've got to remember when it comes to criminal threats, they're opportunistic, right? Yeah. So they're just looking for an opportunity. Their attack might not be particularly well planned, could be well planned, but for an opportunistic threat actor, the opportunity now with so many people working from home has just increased exponentially.
Yeah, agreed. And that nation building part is a big thing that we did talk about in PwC as well. And so a part of that is building the capability that we need for the future. And, one of the things we've done is to build what we're calling our onshore delivery centre in Adelaide, which is around building new capabilities with SA Government and the university for the future, which will help us as well as our clients. And I think it's that investing back into community is really important for all corporates as part of our role and collaboration with government. What do you see, or what would be the one or two things that you would say to organisations around what could we be doing through the lens of cybersecurity or digital sovereignty that we need to be thinking about now, whether it be skills development or other areas as well?
Well, I mean, first things first, I absolutely applaud PwC for the initiative in Adelaide, and I think that with the strong support of the South Australian government, all of that effort around cyber technology, the whole Lot 14 arrangement is just fabulous. I was following it very, very closely when I was still in uniform, and obviously the Defence Science and Technology Group is there in Adelaide as well, and I just think that's fabulous, and for all sorts of reasons, but the primary reason I think is that we do have a skills shortage in this field, in this profession. I mean, you don't find cybersecurity professionals queued up at Centrelink, looking for a job. So we can't magic up more cybersecurity professionals. We need to grow them.
Yes.
And sure, we can bring in expertise from overseas. That can introduce challenges for areas where that cybersecurity professional might need a security clearance, especially in the national security domain, both inside government and commercially, who support government, the national security community. So I think we've got to grow that workforce, and that's why I think this this initiative that your firm has championed there in South Australia is just fabulous.
Any last thoughts you'd like to make before we wrap up?
Look, I think the one bit of advice that I would offer to any smart generalist, director, C-suite, who's starting to think about or start with this: there is a threat. The threat is real, it is active, and it wishes you harm. You wouldn't leave the front doors of your business unlocked overnight. You wouldn't leave the front door of your home and the windows unlocked necessarily. So in the same way you think about physical security, be thinking about your cyber security. And I would offer as a framework just that very simple look at self-defence, passive defence and active defence. And to start asking questions of your technical expert, of your service provider, and keep asking questions until you're satisfied that the risk is being addressed appropriately.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Marcus.
My pleasure, David. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you.